Good morning, everyone. It's Monday, back here at the shop. The 19 Silverado is not here yet. He's gonna be here later this afternoon. So we're gonna get to work on dialing in this Camaro. I actually wanted to take the Monte Carlo for a drive, but I actually can see some fluid leaking. So I gotta look at that first. But I'm gonna bang out the Camaro, get that mostly dialed. And then just later this afternoon, the Silverado should be here. So that'll be more later this afternoon or tomorrow tuned. But right now I'm letting my laptop charge and we're gonna get to work on the Camaro. Let's see. This tire's got a slow leak, so I have to fill that tire up. But it's actually like 50 some degrees in the shop, so it might probably start. I should leave this thing outside. See how good the battery is. Alright, needs a little bit more work on startup. Yeah, 10 PSI in the tire. Now my big worry is, because it's, like I said, this converter, or this cam is pretty aggressive, and it's got a stock converter in it. So it definitely needs a little bit of work on startup stuff, airflow, and I'm trying to let it stabilize at least for a few seconds. I want to see if I put it in gear, how it does. All right, let's try. Okay, but it's pushing pretty hard and it's stalled. So we're gonna need to do a little work on that to get where it's happy. But again, it's stock stall, so I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to do, but we'll try. All right, so I had the Camaro out for an hour or so and something's going on with it. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if the cats are clogged or this air filter's bad, but basically at idle in gear, it surges really bad. And everything I've done has not seemed to made it a difference. So that's leaning me towards more maybe a vacuum leak or, you know, throttle body issue, something like that. So I'm gonna have to take a look at that, but I'm gonna let it cool down for now. I have the Monte Carlo in the air, and actually over here you can see something was leaking. Now I parked it over the weekend and it's been sitting there, so that's kind of exaggerated, but I'm pretty sure it is the aftermarket pan gasket, because you can actually see it's wet all over here. Basically, I think up front it's leaking. Like, see how it's wet? See how it's wet in there? It's dry in there. It's hard to see. Dry in there. Cooler lines are dry. Dipstick is dry. Basically, it's it's the rail. So, I mean, these aftermarket gaskets really aren't good. It had a factory gasket on it, but it was really flat and it had RTV on it. So I don't trust it. I'm gonna have to call the dealer and get a factory gasket, because the factory gasket is actually pretty good. It's plastic with metal inlay right where the bolts are, and then it's rubber on either side, like a straight rail. And it's a really good gasket, and it is a reusable one, but this one is completely flat. So like, and then it had RTV on it, so that one's not any good anymore. So I'm gonna have to get a new gasket. Luckily, this drain pan actually has a drain, which is nice. So I'm gonna have to get a gasket. I'm gonna actually check the fluid now and probably take this thing for a ride, because like I said, the converter feels really good and it looks like it only leaks. I had it running, and this is old stuff, but I had it running and it doesn't leak when it's running, it leaks when it sits. So, and then I dropped it because I put a new I really don't like this company, because this cable is really short. The way they have you route it, I don't like it. But the big problem was it was leaking through the seal, and it's not anymore. I'm not gonna be able to do this one-handed. Yeah, I don't like the way they have it to do it. Is just not. Yeah, all right, I can't do that one-handed. All right, so I'm going to call the dealer and get a gasket coming. A little bit of an update. I think I got the Camaro sorted. Combination of a couple things, but the big thing I think was this hose. This is like the main hose that goes from the back of the intake over to the booster, and this was the intake side, and it's super squishy right here. So I'm pretty sure it was leaking and causing me like a vacuum leak, because it's super, you could just, I know you can't tell on camera. I mean, actually you can a little bit. It's like bloated and yeah, but it's nothing compared to like this side. So put another hose on that. Everything seems better. I got to lower the idle a little bit more because it's a stock converter, and I'm trying basically to get it to not push through the brakes too hard at idle. So idle in gear, because she's got a decent, it's got a relatively good cam in it, but as soon as you put it in gear, it wants to push through the brakes. And then it was surging before, but now it's not surging. So I think I got it kind of covered. So ordered a gasket for this thing. Hopefully that's here soon. But let's go over to the bench and look at data log and check this thing over. All right, so the Camaro is done. I mean, I did what I could. Like I said, this thing's got stock cold air intake and stock exhaust, like literally from the cats all the way back, completely stock. So did what I could. I got this thing idling pretty happy. About 750 RPM idle. Everything looks good. It's my wideband, it's in Lambda. It's funny that it's reading that rich, like slightly rich, should be real 1.0, but fuel trims are where they should be. So yeah. It's got a little chop to it, but it's going through the stock mufflers. And then put it in gear. Doesn't push that hard, but best I can do with stock converter. Not bad. Shut the door real quick. I want to say, I'll pull the key out. If we look at this log, let's stop it. Get back to wide open throttle. Here we got, basically I'm commanding 886. It's at where are we at? Right there. EQ errors -1. It's right where I want it to be. It's a little rich, which is fine. 18 degrees of timing, and actually up top, like up at redline, we got 21, 22. Yeah, 21, and no knock, and that's basically as far as I want to push it with stock exhaust. I shifted at 6,000. It seems happy. Everything seems happy. We're right. Basically, our EQ error, it's -1. You know, it's 1% rich, so that's fine. I'll leave it there, and she's good to go. Get my wideband out, and then I'll park this thing outside tonight to check cold start, and this thing's done. So now we're gonna work on the L83 engine. Get that torn down more, because customers dropping off the truck this week, so we got to get that engine torn down and see if we need any additional parts. So let's go do that. Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, and got right to work. I checked the cold start. It's 20-some degrees outside, so pretty good cold start. And there's the heater. Check the cold start on the Camaro, the 5th gen Camaro. She is good to go. I made some adjustments. I needed some additional airflow and a little bit more RPM, and she's happy. And now I'm working on the 19 is here, and I'll fire it up for you guys real quick in the shop. This thing it's all warmed up now, so definitely some more adjustments I still got to do. check engine light and I have an issue. Another shop did the install and I have no O2 sensors, no narrow bands. So it does have long tubes, so I want to double check the extensions and everything, make sure that's all good. But yeah, it's all back together, everything looks good. And yeah, so basically luckily it's lifted. I can basically get right under it and check out the exhaust. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Well, actually I'm gonna let it cool down a little bit, look at the log that I drove, because basically I was logging dynamic air, and I can make adjustments based on dynamic air for the VE table, or VVE, and so I'm gonna get to doing that while the truck cools down, and then we'll go back out. All right, I'm out in the 19. This thing's got like 3 extra steps you got to do. Kind of sucks, but I guess it's got to be done for these 19 or newer. Interesting thing is I have to carry my internet with me because it needs to see the internet every time. I guess it's got to talk to HP Tuner's servers or something. But yeah, very fun. Not really. So getting it dialed, and hopefully it's basically it's a virtual volumetric efficiency, but it's got to go through the neural network or something they call it, the neural network. But it's gonna also got to go through HP Tuner's servers through them. So yeah, there's like 3 extra steps you got to take with these to get it dialed. I'm pretty close. Initially, the truck did not have the narrowband O2 sensors in it, so it was running an open loop. So that threw me in a loop for a little bit. But luckily, he had the parts in the bed still, so I was able to get them installed, and you kind of had to. Luckily, it didn't need any O2 O2 sensor extensions because of the long tubes. I literally was able to like pull it off of its clip on either side and then manipulate the wiring down a little bit, and it reached. So that's really cool, because like I said initially, it was like yeah, it didn't no narrow bands. So getting this flash done, and then we'll be hopefully be good to go here soon. Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, and I got the 2019 outside. I spent a good bit of time on it yesterday, figured some things out, and we're gonna do a cold start. It is 18 degrees outside. It's cold. So, got the key. Let's take a look. Let's see how she does. For a drive. There's a little better, a little quieter. I forget what. I don't know what muffler that is. Let's take a look. It looks like a Flowmaster. Let this thing warm up. I can't feel my fingers. Out in the truck, got it pretty much dialed in. For a big heavy truck, this thing kind of gets it. Now unfortunately the TCM is not tuned. So I have to manually shift it, because otherwise it short shifts. But here we go. This thing hit dump truck. And then she comes back down and cruises. Gotta love the 8 speeds. Wow. Anything more than 6, I guess, because this thing just like lumbers along 1,000 RPM most of the time. So, do a little bit more walk around with this thing, but she's about done. It definitely took me a little bit to get it dialed, but that is with Gen 5 stuff. There's a lot of tables that if you mess with them too much, the computer gets in a fit and things happen. But right now this thing runs real good. So look, I left it. I let it shift. I shifted it. Now I'll let it shift. I'll make this turn, and yeah, it shifts at like 55. I want to say whatever the factory. Not bad for this heavy old girl. So, like I said, I'll do another video when we get back to the shop because this thing is done. Moving right along. Made it back to the shop. You actually see the truck right there. It's all done. Thing runs great. Customer's on his way. I'm actually in the next vehicle, which is a 2007 Tahoe. 07 Tahoe. But it's actually got almost the same crate engine as this. I think this has a smaller, it's 6.2 Jam crate engine, but it's got a smaller camshaft in it. He doesn't even know what muffler's on this. He said some big, factory muffler. But this was previously tuned, but he was not happy at all how it was done. So brought it to me. I'm going to go through it. Basically, I've reverted it. I don't like talking bad on other people. I'm letting that truck warm up because it's cold. I don't like talking bad on other people. Certain people have certain ways of doing things, and you know, that's fine. But this truck originally was a 5.3. Now it's got a 6.2 in it. The first thing I looked at was the cylinder volume. It was stock. It was still set for 5.3. Now, the problem is the computer thinks it's got a certain size engine. So everything is based off of that number. And if it's wrong, everything is wrong. Bad data in is bad data out. So, no, okay, I thought it died. Sorry. So, yeah, there was a couple things that were done that I wouldn't do on a stock exhaust vehicle. It was set to mass air only. I would not do that for this vehicle because personally, that's not how I do things. So, basically converted it. I found an 08 Escalade, which is a 6.2 truck. Took the cylinder volume from that. A lot of the settings that were changed that didn't have to be changed. And basically adapted it and made it 6.2. Like that was volume based and, you know, airflow based. So now it's a 6.2. See where I'm going with it? Because a lot of things were still 5.3 based. So put a base tune on that. Going to go take that thing for a drive. It's a, what is it, 212 cam. So it's a very small cam. But it's a 4L60 truck and a stock converter. So can't get too aggressive with it. But yeah, so we're just chugging along. I cannot feel my fingers. It's so cold out. But Silverado should be here soon. Big Silverado. Might go for a ride with him, and if he's okay with filming, we'll film him. At least film his reaction. Make sure he likes it. And then yeah, so let's go get this Tahoe done. Keep on rolling. Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday. I am still on this Tahoe. Basically got idle, drivability, you know, cruising, everything seems good. Now I put my my Y-band in. Gonna go test wide open throttle, make sure that's all good. Yeah, so just literally just doing a flash. I think it's like 15 degrees outside or something, and my shop is not very warm. It's got single pane windows. It's got some air leaks around the door and things, and my heater's running, but it's just, I'm actually gonna, now I'm standing in front of it. You can see it up there. Yeah, it's cold. It's very cold. Really just waiting for spring here. And the Tahoe's done. You can hear the noise. So, get this thing out on the road and get it dialed. And and then basically today I want to work more on the L83 engine. I got some of it gone through and cleaned up and cleaned all the carbon out of the rings and everything. And but yeah, we're gonna get on this Tahoe and see how that does today. And that's it. The 08 Tahoe is done. Took a little bit because it's kind of funky with not licensing the fuel pump control module in this truck. It wasn't particularly happy because it was commanding more fuel pressure as the RPMs goes up, so the MAF curve isn't exactly how I like it, but 12.5 air fuel whole way. I think it up top it comes up to about 21-22 degrees. It's about all this truck really wants, and this thing flies. This is way faster than it needs to be. And look, it's done. This thing is way, pull the key out. This thing is way faster than it needs to be. But I'll fire it up real quick. It sounds pretty good. Like I said, it's got the smaller GM Performance cam in it, but once it comes down to an idle, it's a startup. There we go. Yeah, no, she's run real good. It's got great oil pressure. Really happy with how this truck turned out. I'm glad I was able to turn it around from the previous tune-up. Pull the key out again. From the previous tune-up. Like I said, it was, again, I don't really like to badmouth people, but it was not right. It was not good, and it was not right. So I'm really hopeful that this customer enjoys this truck now. Yeah. Going to now work a little bit on, I want to put another, that Chrysler 300 that's outside, I want to put a bass tune. I did like sort of a really quick, like 10-minute, adjust a couple things to get it to idle. I want to do a little bit more, and I want to let it run a little longer because it's actually going to snow, so I want to bring it inside. So yeah, let's get to that. I don't do a lot of Dodges, but particular to the older stuff, basically like once the Hemi, like basically 05, I think. 05 to like 08, that generation. Cycle ignition. So I made some adjustments to this, and I want to see how it does, especially cold. Not happy. And right now, I think the battery's a little low too because it had a hard time starting. Let's does have a cam. Just gonna have to wait until it warms up a little bit. I'll come back after it warms up. Good morning, everyone. time. It is Saturday. I'm actually down here at the shop. I usually don't work weekends, but I'm kind of in a bind with this engine. So I wanted to knock it out, get it completely refurbed and ready to go, because next week the truck is getting dropped off and I want to do a switcheroo, and I want this 100% done. Just had the Camaro pickup. He's happy with that. The 94 is gone. Another friend picked that up, and I have a CTS-V Gen 1, which is like the 05, 06 error, like the first generation CTS-V. That got dropped off. That actually has another GM crate engine in it. It's the third one. Crate LS3. And so I know it's an LS3 because it's got the conversion box, because originally that engine is a 24X, like the computer is 24X LS, what is it, LS2? No, LS6, no, so it's 24X. So, yeah. That is for next week, but like I said, I want to work on this engine today. And we got a little bit of, it's not a little bit, but I am going to drag week. Today was registration day this morning, 9 a.m. And my wife, as always, she's just killer. I think she likes doing it. I think she likes the adrenaline. I think I know she doesn't like when I'm gone and she's got to watch 2 kids and do her day job. I know that she doesn't like, but I think the adrenaline of getting registered, and because I believe it opened up at 9 this morning, 9 a.m. and it was sold out by 9:03. Yeah. So she got me in. Now, there is a little bit of debate. I've been kind of thinking it over, and I might not buy this other car because I really don't need another car, and that would spread my my funding pretty thin for 3 cars that I have to work with or build, like how I want. So actually, we'll look over at the Mustang. For one, my hand's getting tired. So yeah, this is the car I would be taking. I am taking this year, and I'm going to be running it in Street Machine Eliminator, which is basically the 10.0 and slower class. Now, what's cool with Street Machine Eliminator is they, at the end of the week, there's a bracket race of the top 32 racers in the class. Usually there's like 140, 150 people in this class. It's the biggest class. And, sorry, I'm starting to get a cold. My daughter brought something home from daycare, I think. And, sorry, lost train of thought. In Street Machine Eliminator, there's like 140 cars, and I've never been a good bracket racer. And at Drag Week, they kind of hustle pretty fast through the rounds, and this car has never been good at doing rounds right back to back. It needs cool down because it's the engine gets hot and everything. It's not set up for that, and they don't really allow that. But I am going for, personally, I want to go for the overall win in Street Machine Eliminator, which is basically I have to average a 10.0 the whole week, 10.00 something, or as close to it as I can. Basically, what I want to do is, not this year, because I don't want to push it now. We're in February, so technically, like, if I didn't have my normal business and 2 kids, I could probably build this car for the next class that I want to run in, which is street race, small block, power adder. Street race is the most regulated class. You can't have tube front end. You can't have wild rear suspension. It's got to be all stock location, stock style setup, and glass. No fiberglass. Like I said, no tube front end, and it's an 850 class. Small block, because it's a small block, 360 cubic inch, and power adder, because it's turbo. So that would be next year, 2026 goal, because basically this roll bar has to get cut out, professionally installed, to either do a custom one or professionally installed cage. Get this one cut out, this roll bar, because it's only good to 10-0, and get a roll cage, which is adds the halo. The big thing is, what it does is, it adds the top section, it adds the halo that comes around, wraps around there, and then also the down bars, which tie into these bars. And again, I'm debating to do it, not to do it. I don't know. Like, this car has always been my cruiser ever since I bought it. It was my daily when I bought it when I was young. And I mean, I've had this car since 2005, 2004, somewhere right around there. And it's always been a street car. It's always been my, like I said, it's been my daily at one point, and then just progressed from there. But I think, for me, I think it's better if I have just 2 instead of 3. Because this car, I can then fix the AC. There's a little bit of the header leak I want to take care of. Like, this is a great cruiser for the 4 of us, for me, my wife, and my 2 kids. Like, this is perfect. So I think that's going to be the plan, and this is going to turn more into, now an 850 car is fast. It's no joke, but I think that's the plan I want to do with this car, instead of buying another car and having funds really thin between them all, you know. At least that's my thought process, at least. But enough rambling. I am going to get to work on this engine and get that dialed in. I think that's going to be it for this video, honestly. And yeah, I'm going to try to get this all jammed in together, and I'll get it uploaded for tomorrow, for Sunday, so you have something to watch Sunday morning. Well, as always, I appreciate you guys watching and commenting. I really do appreciate it. Business has been incredible lately. Like, I don't really have advertising. I have like a Facebook business page and just like word of mouth. I haven't really officially advertised, like put it out there on like paid for Facebook space and ads and stuff. I really haven't done that. So I want to say thank you for all the people that have trusted me with their vehicles, and it really seems to be going good. I think February is going to be my best month ever since doing this. So, thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.